Hello everybody, here is DNA Games and welcome to another video from the life and suffering of Sir Brante. Last time we had a very interesting year with plenty of encounters and events. We've become more spiritual and now we'll move on and hopefully we'll be able to progress even more. The Silver Tree. Your theological teachers tell you more about Aniseld. It is more than just the provincial capital. It is a sacred place blessed by the gods. It is where the twin gods' disciples spilled their blood, and from that blood grew the sacred tree. It is enormous. Its enormous foliage hangs over the city. You see the branches in the sky every day, but you have never approached the trunk of the tree yourself. Today, you will. You will be taking your first trip to the Silver Tree. Your class is visiting a service in the great temple by the tree's very roots. Thanks to your theology teacher, you and the other students will witness this landmark of the twins' advent up close. Everybody is excited. Soon, you and the other boys enter the slums surrounded by the church district of Aniseld. The roots are pulsating under your feet. They spread underground all through the area. Pathetic, cramped hovels and filthy streets surrounded by the trunk of the tree. They are home to paupers, day laborers, and preachers. The people of the district bow humbly to you and point you towards the temple. They seem at peace despite the abject poverty in which they live. All who live directly beneath the tree are filled with its divine grace, your teacher says. People come here to make peace with the world and their fate in it. Your class is unusually quiet. Everyone is listening to the rustling of the leaves and the underground beating of the roots. The sky above you is obscured by the tree's canopy. You find the temple of the twins right next to the tremendous trunk of the tree. It almost seems a part of it. There is a crowd there, pilgrims dressed in traveling clothes, paupers and beggars, common people of the city, and occasionally well-dressed nobles. There are arguments among some people who are gathered in separate small groups. Many people are wandering around, standing upwards at the tree branches. The tree impresses you with its might and the calm emanating from it. You are filled with a desire to sit down and think of the world, to learn something about yourself, to touch the silver white bark and hearken to the whispering leaves. You are distracted enough to fall back from the rest of the classmates. You notice a small path. It should take you right next to the trunk. A tall, red-haired woman walks out of the crowd of pilgrims. She is wearing a worn white robe. She is no longer young, but her face is youthful and covered in freckles. Her hands clutch a book. You have never seen this lady pilgrim before, yet she looks at you almost as if she has recognized a lifelong friend. She beckons to you and says her name, Mathilde, a preacher from Astynia. What she says next shakes you to your very core. It is commendable to see a young man who so keen to learn the teaching of the twins, she says, yet you will never follow the light of truth within the walls of the temple. Inside you will find only the lies about the lots, the earring words of the prophet Isatius, satisfied by the passages of the centuries. Yet anyone who sets out to read the account of the twins' own lives know that they never so much as mentioned the lots. The red-haired preacher words frighten you. They clash with everything you have heard from mother, everything you have been taught at school. The lots are a lie? You freeze in fear. Should you argue with Mathilde or ask her for more information, or should you treat her as a madwoman and catch up with your classmates? You suddenly feel a small warm hand grasp your own. You see a girl right next to you. She is just a little older than you, wearing a black dress, tree-bird yet almost spotless. Her hair is covered by a handkerchief with only a single golden lock showing. Her brown eyes are burning with rage, her hand pulling you away from the red-haired preacher. You stare in confusion at the strange young girl, your cheeks flushed by the sudden touch. There is just a bit of color on her cheek too, but then she starts speaking to you quickly. Don't listen to her, she's dangerous. Come to the temple with me, only there will you see the truth. I don't have the achievement. You stand there surrounded by the crowd of praying pilgrims and the sound of shuffling feet torn between two people you have never seen before, and each of them expects you to follow her. But all the while you hear the whispering of the wind in the tree branches. The branches reach out to you almost as if the tree wishes to speak to you itself. Can you hear the voice? So I can follow the girl into the temple. I will lose willpower. I will get to know Jane. What truth will you learn inside the temple? Then we can stay with the red-haired pilgrim. We gain spirituality. What else does she have to say? And leave Jane. We can leave them and approach the tree, or we could give it to the Epiphany. So I would love to listen to the Epiphany, but I can't, so I will stay with the red-haired woman. You shrug, smile shyly at the girl, and walk towards the red-haired preacher. This Mathilde of Astynia, she speaks too strangely to be ignored. You feel she will be leaving soon anyway, and the temple, surely the temple is not going anywhere. The lady preacher hands her book to you. There are words on the cover, the lives of the twins. The book is so heavy you almost drop it. The crowd around you barely allows for a proper reading. The best you can do is flip through the pages and hope to glimpse a message or two from it. Mathilde's hushed voice commands on each new page. This book was written by the disciple of the twins. When the twin gods descended and brought faith into the world, they walked the land with them. It is filled with many stories of wonders and battles, as well as records of the twins' own sermons and dialogues. They discuss many things that now guide the living, the fate that awaits us on the shining pillar, the eternal life after true death, and the profane evil magic. Yet Mathilde points out something that you cannot help but notice yourself. There is not one mention of the lots in this book. How can it be? You ask her. It's what it is, she responds. The twins never spoke of them. They never left any teaching behind, but nothing but their deeds and their own lives in this world. You frown. Then how come we know about the lots now? They exist thanks to Isatius, she says. Isatius, favored by the gods, the elder's favorite disciple, walked the land by his side and through all his hardships until his fate ended in Eterna. They came to be, she explains, when people came to Isatius and asked him how they should live. Yet Isatius was but a man, and his teachings of the law were not of divine revelation, but a speculation of his own devising something. This feels much tougher than learning prayers. So if the teaching of the laws come not from the gods but rather from their student, what does that mean for you? What does it mean for the people? A new faith, the redhead preacher says with a smile. You think about her words for a long time as the silver tree whispers above your head, and the very tree grown from the blood of the people who walk the land with the younger and the elder. You keep on thinking about it even as you make your way home and into bed. Your conclusion brings you no comfort. If the strange lady preacher was right, then you are supposed to be free to interpret the twins' words yourself, which means that you and only you should be responsible for your life and fate in the hereafter, but who can tell for sure? You cannot fall asleep that night, so they were lying to you all this time. In the morning, you still mutter off a prayer and the words of your lot to work, endure, and suffer. But it is all worth it if the lots don't really exist? Or is it the will of the twins after all? Did they actually speak their will through Isatius? And those who defy the will are defying the true order of the world? These questions will remain in your mind for a long time. I would have loved to have the epiphany. The shadow of the past. Another school day has ended. You are making your way home, still mulling over the things you've learned from your teachers. The founding of the empire, the eternal and unshakable rules of a single dynasty, the three estates, each with its own right. What an odd sort of order the world has, and yet so mysterious. At least it sounds that way when your teachers talk about it. Mother is waiting for you at the porch. She smiles gently when she sees you, and yet her expression still shows great concern. Father left on a trip several distant Magrat towns a few days ago. Since then, Mother has been trying to tell you something, but she seems uncertain. Son, could you put your things away and come pray with me? You join Mother in prayer to the twins. She prays with fervent sincerity, her head bowed low, reciting the words of obedience to them and their greater design. In a barely audible whisper, you repeat after her, just as she taught you ever since you were a little boy. When the prayer ends, Mother sighs and turns to you. DNA, my son, you are 13 now. You will be grown soon. It is time you learn about certain things that are important to our family. Difficult things. It's about your father and me, about our marriage. You gaze curiously into Mother's eyes. I'm sure you've wondered about this before. Your father is a noble of the mantle, so how could he marry a commoner with another man's child? But you see, DNA, your father, when his first wife Amelia Elborn died, it was a painful blow to him. He lost the will to live, lost all purpose. He felt like his own destiny was cut short that day as well. And then he met me. You know, the troubles I had in the past. I went to the prefecture as a petitioner to ask for help, protection, justice. When I was a young girl, I worked at a small shop that sold crockery and dishes. A noble took a liking to me. May his name be forever forgotten. The twins know I was humble and honored his lot to rule, but he took me by force. Mother falls silently, summoning the courage to continue. Gloria is the nobleman's daughter, but he was outraged. How could I have the gall to burden him with a low-born progeny? He turned me out on the streets with the little baby girl in my arms. Mother's voice is shaking now. You take her hands tenderly. I had no home, no honor, nowhere to go, no one to help me. When I went to the prefecture, I didn't really think the judges there would help me find justice against my former master. But when Sir Robert heard my plea, his eyes met mine, and I believe that very moment the twins themselves granted him the gift of their love. Your father told me there was nothing he could not do to make the detestable nobleman marry me, but he would never abandon me and baby Gloria, and if I agree, he would take me into his own home. Tears are running down Mother's cheeks. And I knew it, my son. I knew how much his honor and reputation would suffer. but caring for me brought him back to life. It's like he experienced another sacrament. He rediscovered his noble purpose, his lot to rule and protect and care for others, but his decision to marry me, he is still paying for it today. Your father had the courage to defy your grandfather, the founder of his bloodline. If only you knew how much he had endured, my son. If only you knew the despicable rumors we heard about the Brantes all over Anisode. It was only thanks to the efforts of Sir Gregor that the Brante bloodline managed to hang on to what little remains of his reputation. And now the noble families have all but forgotten about the scandal, thanks to the twins. Mother falls silent. She looks at you intently. Do you understand what she is telling you? My son, I'm not telling you this just to share the pain of my past. I have no reason to complain. Even Sir Gregor has accepted me through grinded teeth. But you need to understand the heavy burden our family must bear, including our scandalous marriage and Gloria's foul origin. And Gloria, she can never be a Brant. Even if the elder Brant agreed, the news would stir up the old scandal in the minds of high society. And if that were to happen, DNA, they would see even your birth as illegitimate. Mother sighs heavily. What I've told you just now is something you have to know, son. You are about to enter adult life. By my lot, I must be humble. I cannot tell you how to treat your family, but may I ask you a question? Now that you know all about this, do you still see Gloria as your sister? You accept Gloria as your sister, regardless of her origin. Gloria will always be your family. Distant yourself from Gloria? What is good for the family is good for you. You will be more wary when dealing with Gloria from now on. Evade the question. So we could increase the relationship with both. We could distance ourselves from Gloria, or we could raise our willpower. We evade the question. You do not want to disappoint Mother or Gloria, but you also do not want to make any promises you cannot keep. Who knows what the future may hold? It always pays to be careful. And so you hide your true feelings and offer Mother a guarded response. You are not grown up enough to have a saying in in matters such as this. You will not be in charge of the family affairs anytime soon. Of course, Gloria means a lot to you, and she always will, regardless of her status in the Brant home. Mother nods sadly. I understand, DNA. You want what's best for everyone. You do not want to betray your sister, but you also don't want to give her too much hope. You are still young. You do not have to make a choice just yet. But you will have to decide one day, I'm afraid. The world won't let you stand aside forever. Just then, you hear Gloria carefully knock at the door of Mother's chamber. Mother, DNA, I couldn't find you. You greet your sister as if the past few minutes never happened. You suggest reading some ancient poetry down in the library together. Gloria agrees, suspecting nothing about what Mother told you just now. Mother remains alone by her bedside, thanking the twins for the gift of humility with a quiet prayer. Year 1131. Fall. The Flash and the Flame. You are 13 now. Sorry. Another theology lesson today. Oh my god, another theology lesson. Today, sermon is about the priests and why the clergy is the only one of the three estates with the right to interpret the laws and guide the other two estates accordingly. Thomas sits next to you, huffing and puffing as he fervently writes down the teacher's every word. But you have heard all this from Mother many times before, so you take this moment to daydream a little. Father promised to take you to the capital once your studies are complete. But the teacher suddenly cast a stern look around the lecture hall and raised his voice at one of your classmates. A boy named Brian jumps out of his seat. The teacher asks him to repeat what he just said. Brian freezes and seems to shriek. He tries to muster a reply, but nothing comes out. The class becomes agitated and someone is about to get punished. The teacher now looms over Brian. The boy's cheeks are flushed and his eyes are covered in tears. You all watch the teacher's iron-bound book as he raises it sharply, about to strike. Brian shrieks and raises a hand in front of him. A sudden flash. The teacher screams and buries his face in his arms. His hair is ablaze and his skin is covered with horrible burns. It's magic, real magic, just like in the books about Magva Rebellion. The class freezes in shock. There is a dull thud as the iron-bound book falls to the floor. Brian's hysterical laughter rends the silence. He stands up from his bench, fire in his eyes and sparks on his fingertips. There are screams now. Students run from the door. Teachers try to extinguish his burning hair. Brian snaps his finger and the book of Isatius on the desk turns into pillars of flame. He laughs and raises his arm at the curtain, and the curtains catch fire. The scream grows louder as the fire howls. Brian's face is tense and violent. His mouth is spewing flames and his whole body is shaking with laughter. He steps towards the door. You and Thomas glance at each other. He's going to burn the whole school down. Your friend's determination to make you brave. You run behind Brian and knock him off his feet. You both tumble to the floor. Even though his clothes, his body sears your flesh. Brian screams, convulses, and grabs Thomas by the shoulder with his burning hands. Thomas howls but stays put, then knocks Brian senseless with several fierce blows to the head. There are servants fussing around the room now. They put out the fire and take away the teacher, his body covered with horrible burns. You and Thomas remain next to Brian, who is lying on the floor silent. Soon, 3 men in black clothes enter the door of the school, each bearing an edict sealed with silver, the Inquisition. You and Thomas are told to step away from the witch. They lock Brian's neck in a silver collar and take him away. One of the inquisitors remains behind to tell the students what happened. That was magic, he explains. The ungodly power that twists the mind of men into savage instruments of murder. Only the sacred shackles of silver can hold it at bay. Only the power of the twins can save us all from its evil grasps. The next day, you are forbidden from ever mentioning Brian's name again. He is no more. Oh, another story. The nobleman's loss. A great day looms ahead. 100 years ago, Uther Tempest was anointed to rule over the empire. Blessed by the twins themselves, the emperor reign continued into its 2nd century. Celebrations in honor of Tempest dynasty are held through the city, and the school is closed for 2 weeks. Before that, on one of these evenings, father tells everyone that grandfather is going to bring Stefan back home for the holiday. They say families should celebrate the day of the anointment together. You could benefit from your elder brother's company. With his noble education, Stefan might be able to teach you how noblemen are supposed to act. Soon, Stefan arrives. He now handles himself differently. When it comes to ordering servants around, ignoring Gloria, he is still grandfather's double, but he is more grown up now and far less haughty to you. Something, I don't know. It is a dark winter evening. A damp, cold wind sweeps through the city from the barren lands of Magra. You and Stefan are sitting in the library. He is telling you all about Eterna, the capital of the empire. It is full of so many wonders. The imperial palace, the enormous temple of the twins, the military academy, the imperial college. You have read so much about these places, yet he has seen them firsthand. Nathan enters the library. He looks concerned. I can't find Gloria. I've looked everywhere. She's not in the attic, not in the sitting room, not in the kitchen. I heard she wanted to sneak out to the ruins of Charmilande's palace. She could be lost in there. You and Stefan exchange looks. Charmilandes, the rebellious duke, the ruins of his palace are a dangerous place. Some children claim his tainted magic still lingers there, which means you absolutely have to make your way there and back again to prove you are not afraid of the long dead witch. Your brother tells you to wait. He leaves and soon returns with his sword in his sheath. Get ready, DNA. We are going to rescue Gloria. She must have gone to the ruins in search for inspiration for another one of her little rhymes. The two of you instruct Nathan to tell your parents you have gone for a walk in the square. You and your older brother head outside. You are confused by Stefan's action. He refused to treat Gloria like a human being, so why is he still so determined to rescue her? Stefan noticed your expression. Are you wondering why I care about Gloria all of a sudden? I can't act in any other way, can I? The law, honor compels me to protect my family. Gloria will never be a Brante, but father still took her into our house. I must respect his seniority and defend Gloria like she is one of our own. You are a Brante too, noble or not, which means it is your duty to aid me. The ruins of Charmelande's palace span an entire district. The palace was abandoned centuries ago, and its remains are overgrown with thick underbrush. The ruined palace is empty, nothing but cold wind blowing over crumbling brickwork. Even the worst of the scum of the land steer clean of this place. You make your way through the ruins until you spot scratches, sheets of paper covered in writing, your sister's writing. You hear loud laughter coming from behind a dilapidated stone wall nearby. You pull yourself up to peer over it. Gloria is lying on the ground, face down, twitching and sobbing. A gaggle of drunk young thugs surround her, cackling and swinging their arms about. You hear their shouts. Look at the lass sitting here rhyming words together. She thinks she's a noble. But don't worry, you lowborn tart. We're going to teach you your place. One of the louds spits at Gloria as she lies there. Get away from her this instant, you bastards, or I'll spill your guts. They respond with mocking laughter. Stefan draws his sword. The street thugs recoil in fear, but they soon notice that he is only one armed man against many. They start reaching out for sticks and stones. Stand by my side. Don't let them flank me. Stefan's hand shakes, but he looks ready for battle. He's outnumbered. For a moment, you hesitate. Perhaps it might be better to run for the nearby district and call for guards. The young thugs are already armed with makeshift weapons. They start approaching you and Stefan continuously. So you grab a heavy rock you can find and get ready to fight. Charge the attackers. You get busy defending Stefan while his sword does the attacking. So this one will be the same, but I'll also increase nobility and I will lose willpower. Or I could you leave the fight to Stefan and run for help. What should I do here? As both of my stats are of 1. Sorry, brother. I'll have to run. The shouts try to flank Stefan and surround him. Your brother's sword thrusts and feints methodically like a training bout. The thugs keep dodging and jumping away. They manage to stay safe so far. If the things continue like this, soon one of them will flank Stefan, kick the sword out of his hand and bring him down. The Raffens are paying no attention to you, however. Stefan slashes with his sword. One of the young men falls, the other rush at your brother. You get Gloria back on her feet as she stares at you in astonishment. It is time to find the guard. You find the guards dressed in Archduke's colors patrolling the nearby district. You tell them that a gang of lowborn thugs have assaulted a young nobleman, but when you make your way back, the loud's bodies are already fading away. Stefan is on his feet, his sword sinking in the last foe left standing. He smiles at you faintly, then his eyes roll back into his head and he collapses. The guards help you bring Stefan back home. Grandfather sends for the doctor. The moment he sees that his favorite grandson is unconscious, the doctor quickly brings Stefan back to his senses and bandages the injuries on his left arm. Sir Gregor never leaves Stefan's side. You acted like a true nobleman, Stefan. You fought for your family honor, even though you haven't risked your life for the freeloading wrench. The burden of a noble is a tough one to bear. We must obey our laws so that the lowly estate may toil for theirs. But when lowborn scum grow insolent, we must be there to put them in their place. Now I fully believe, thanks to you, the Brante name will be written in the blue book, my boy. Your deeds will forever be remembered in our family blood tie, and all of us will be there. You, your father, all of us. Words cannot express how proud I am of you. You leave your brother's side without a word. Grandfather will never recognize you as Stefan's equal and father's true heir. He will never treat you as part of the family. He thinks you will not add a single worthy deed to your family blood tie. You, Nathan, mother, he acts like all of you are not worthy to even bear the Brante name. Had you acted differently that night, would grandfather be proud of you? Who knows? So now we are bright. Ooh, another one. So, trail of assailants. Before long, the entire city hears how a gang of lowborn thugs assaulted Stefan Brante. Grandfather ensures that the brash young men are found. Some of them are taken into custody as soon as a lesser death releases them. Grandfather seeks vengeance on those who hurt his favorite grandson. Prefect Elborn, a friend of your family, promises to personally oversee the trial and ensure that justice is served. Stefan and Grandfather decide to stay in Anisot until the trial ends. Grandfather demands true death for every single assailant. You ask Father to explain something. How can a legal court sentence criminal to true death? How can worldly judgment overdo the twins' law? Your words are true, my son. Their law is second to none. Yet the twin gods also made the empire and all its ways. The court of law exists to execute the law of heavens here in the world. Should a court of law sentence a person to death, the law high above will always enforce it, and so every execution brings true death. The commoners who assaulted Stefan, a born nobleman, have committed a grave offense. There is no doubt about it. And yet, according to the emperor's decree, even commoners have the right to defend themselves when they are about to face true death. This means that all of us will have to appear at the trial to testify before the court. Evening comes. Gloria visits your room. She looks crestfallen and her fingers keep reaching for her long hair. You put away your school books and ask what is bothering her. The trial tomorrow. I thought I was going to appear there too, as an eyewitness. After all, with this whole mess started because of me, but Sir Robert isn't even going to mention that I was there. Can you imagine? He says it would ruin the case. Why am I always in the way? Nobody ever mentions me, nobody has to listen to me. It's like I don't even exist. And I thought Stefan standing up to me finally meant something. Maybe I will become part of the family. But no, everything is back to usual now. Gloria tries her best to hold back tears. You do your best to comfort her. Father needs to keep the family out of trouble. If Sir Robert believes that I only bring trouble, why did he took me into the house at all? Gloria runs away. You return to your books, but you can't help but get lost in thoughts. What if they told the court you weren't there either? How would you feel then? There is a knock on the door. It is Father. He closes the door behind him and sits next to you. There is an exhausted look about him. Son, you will be testifying before the court tomorrow. Please remember what I'm about to tell you. Gloria wasn't at the ruin. You went there with your brother to inspect this historic site. The nobleman insulted Stefan first and then attacked him. Stefan had managed to deal with the assailants on his own by the time the guards intervened. Gloria will cast suspicion on the case. If we mention her very existence at the court, the reputation of the family will suffer. Your grandfather will never forgive me if that happens. Do not let me down. We are all counting on you. You recall the night of the fight like it was a moment ago. Gloria sprawled under the feet of those cackling thugs, her poetry, her greatest treasure, scattered on the ground. She thinks she's a noble. Those were the words that they spat down at her. But doesn't grandfather mean the same thing when she denies that she is part of the family? But if you do what father tells you, the trial will end quickly. Those commoners will face through that for assaulting the nobleman. If you mention Gloria, things will get complicated. You cannot predict how the trial will end. Which is more important to you, what is right or what is just? So we can support father. You will do as father told you and avoid mentioning Gloria at the court. You lie to father. You agree with father now, but you will tell the truth later. You are determined to change father's opinion and make sure that Gloria gets the fair treatment she deserves. Yeah, that's what I will do. Convince father to change his mind. I need spirituality. You look father straight in the eye and tell him what you think. You are not going to bear false witness in court. He is a judge himself. How can he make you lie to serve Brante? And what of Gloria? If she is not a Brante too, does she not deserve justice? Or maybe grandfather is right, and she is just a freeloader who deserves nothing but shame. If so, then how come father agreed to take her into his home under his protection? Saying this to father is tough. Deep inside you prayed he hears no weakness in your voice and see no blood rushing to your cheeks. But it seems he is silent to you intently. The wrinkles on his forehead grows deeper as fingers steamer out stacked against the armrest. This is going to be tough, son. But you're right. I took Gloria into my home, and I must protect her like my own daughter. This was my decision, and I must stay by it. I will speak with Stefan in the morning, and now I pray your grandfather will never hear of my change of heart. The day comes, the trial takes place, and in the lesser hall of the city prefecture, Sir Brante himself presides the judge. You are the first to testify in court. You tell the court the truth about that night. How the dogs humiliated Gloria, how Stefan and you came to help her, and how Stefan defended his half-sister. Out of the corner of your eye, you watch grandfather's face grow red, yet he remains silent. There are confused whispers in the hall. The commoners on the trial cry out. The truth, Gloria was reciting poetry and yet simply told her she was defying her lot. The situation has changed. By this account, Stefan was not acting in defense of himself or another. He merely assaulted them first in order to retaliate against those who had insulted his half-sister. You spread your feet to stand firm and inhale before speaking next. You ask the whole, is it not a noble's duty to honor his family name? Gloria does not have the Brante name, but your father took her into his home. Therefore, it was Stefan's duty to protect her, as she would have protected any of you. Contemptuous chuckles rush through the courtroom. You have just reminded the city of father's shameful second marriage. Stefan is testifying next. He reluctantly confirms your testimony, glancing at father and grandfather all the while, his arms in the sling in his main argument. Stefan wanted the commoners to stop insulting Gloria, yet in the end commoners were in the first to assault him. After a short recess, Sir Brante returns and rises to deliver his sentence. The court of Anisot finds you guilty of assaulting Stefan Brante, a nobleman who stood in defense of honor of Gloria, a member of his household. All 4 defendants are sentenced in true death by hanging. There is no wind, but you feel a gust of sweep through the hall. The defendants turn pale. Their mothers are bawling and cry. Everybody in the court feels the dreadful power of the law, and it is stern and just. That very power has been invoked by his sentence, and by the very sentence the life of the 4 young men are literally forfeit for all eternity. The gallant awaits. Stefan stands in the front row. Father stands next to him. The wood cracks. The trapdoor opens, and under the young man's feet they dangle in the air, wheezing and reaching out for support with their feet in their final moments. Grandfather Silent ends at home. He screams at you and father, at Stefan and Gloria. The trial is a disgrace. His screams are punctuated by the thudding of his stick against the floor. Father says they had to defend their family. It would have truly been a disgrace if they had shirked their responsibilities. Stefan excuses himself to bandage his arm in order to stay out of the argument. Gloria is quiet but glowing. You stay quiet. It is all over now. It is all over now. Nobody bullies Glorias on the streets anymore. Those 4 commoners are dead forever. Their families were taught a cruel lesson. So will it be with anyone who dares to raise a hand against noblemen. So reputation is -1. Is at 2 now, tarnished honor again. But we raised the family unity. We are at peace now. Also, we are now honorable, and we are blessed by the gods. Also, we are still prepared for anything. Well, that was quite a year with a lot of events. I am very curious to see what happens next, but this will be all for today. I have been DNA Games. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to comment, and I'll see you on the next one. But until then, have some great days. Bye.